compulsory, and maximum we permit up to 7 subjects. Our study material is free of cost. As already we told, there are 2 public examinations in a year, and we give the facility of tutor mark assignment, and it is 20% of theory. I am clearing here, TMA is awarded 20% of theory. Suppose a subject having practical component also, then there must be the marks will be less. For example, suppose a student taking Hindi, English, then there is no practical subject. So total theory will be 100 marks. So according to 100, 20% will be 20 marks directly. But suppose anyone taking physics, so physics theory marks is only 85 and 50 marks for practical. So 85, 20%, it comes out 17. So in practical subject, definitely 20% will be not exactly 20, but it will be less. We have also facility of credit accumulation. Means suppose a learner doesn't want to appear at a time with all subject. Suppose I am appearing only for Hindi or English or physics or chemistry, whatever I want, then I can give that particular subject examination, and that marks will be in my account. Means that credit will be accumulate, and after then the balance subject I will appear in the next public examination or in on-demand examination. Also, we have transfer of credit facility. It is a very unique facility, especially in NIS. No other board across India gives this facility, either CBSE or any state board. What is this actually? If suppose a learner somehow fail in their own system, means any formal system in CBSE or Kerala state board, then he are welcomed within 2 years. Suppose he applying in our system within 2 years, then he or she can choose maximum 2 subjects as a TOC. The same marks will be credited in our system. What he has to do only, there is some requirement of fees, I think approximately 180 rupees per subject, and the original failed mark sheet without lamination, he or she has to deposit in our system. The same marks will be credited in our system, and the balance subject he or she has to appear in the public examination. We also give this same facility for ITI learners with 3 TOC subject. A special feature is we are, as our principal madam already told, we are well recognized board under the Ministry of Education, Government of India, Association of Indian University, Pharmacy Council of India, Medical Council of India, and across any authority has already empowered us and already recognized the NIS degree. So there is no any question should be there according, especially for credibility of NIS. There should be no any such type of question. It is well accepted across the India, either in Kerala or in the rest part of the India. Tutor marks assignment, it reduce the burden of a candidate. Suppose he has to appear in other system 100 marks directly in public examination, but we reduce their burden up to 20% in the name of tutor marks assignment. Mukt Vidyavani, it is a radio program. Any learner can listen directly. The web link is appearing on the screen, and he or she can ask question directly presented over the person expert over there in the headquarter. We also working on Swayam platform. You are well aware that Ministry of HRD, now Ministry of Education, is already given a platform swayam.gov.in. There are so many institutions like IIT, IIM, so many university, and apart from that, NIS is also a part of Swayam. So we are also producing our program on Swayam Prabha, especially channel number 27, 28. These are MHRD channel. We also available on mobile apps. The name NIS Connect. Also, we are working, we are delivering Indian Sign Language for the young person and Bharati Gyan Parampara for aspirant of Sanskrit and traditional language. So this is especially coming on channel number 30 with the name Gyanamrit. We have 3 type of study center. One is known as AIs, like our Almakra center is AI for secondary and senior secondary, means academic courses. Similarly, those who are running vocational courses, they are named as accredited vocational institution. Approximately we have 103 vocational courses. We also have elementary education with the name of Open Basic Education. Then these study center are named as accredited agencies. And we have these have 3 levels: A levels, B level, C level. A level equivalent to class 3rd, B level is equivalent to class 5th, and C level is equivalent to class 8th. Across India, we apart from India, we also have some our study center in Gulf countries like UAE, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Nepal, Kingdom of Bahrain. So we have a study center over there also. So student can take benefit from there also. So we have 3 type of category. We already decided: one OBE program, one academic program, one vocational education program. Apart from this, we are also running DLED program, but DLED program is not running in Kerala government. In other state we are running. And yoga, we have also course of yoga. Especially if we focus on academic courses, so we have 4 streams. One is stream 1, block 1 and block 2. It is a regular course, just at par with the formal system. Stream 2 is specially designed for failed learners, those who are failed due to any situation from their parent board. So those are welcomed in our system with under the condition of stream 2. Stream 3 and 4 are on-demand examination system. This is also a very unique feature in our NIS system. Stream 3 for senior secondary, stream 4 for secondary. Those learners who are not wasting their time and he has fulfilling the criteria of NIS, then they can choose their own dates, their own subject at their own choice. If he or she is feeling that I am well okay in physics, so he or she can appear in physics in the date given on our website. He or she can choose and can sit for the examination, and within we are claiming within 40 to 60 days we are declaring the result, so he or she can save their time and cannot wait up to 1 year for the regular examination, means on public examination. Especially the criteria, if we say for secondary, as per the Government of India rule, minimum age should be 14 years, and similarly for senior secondary, minimum age should be 14 years. There is no maximum age limit. For especially senior, for especially secondary, what the basic requirement? One is address proof and one is date of birth certificate only. Similarly for senior secondary, pass certificate of secondary course from any recognized board and one address proof. These 2 documents is mandatory for taking admission in our system. And I think all are well aware, this is a fees. You can see on our website. I will not take much time for this. Similarly, other fees are there. Suppose one taking in 5 subjects, male candidate, then 1800 only. Female candidate, a relaxation is there. 1450 fees is there. If exempted category he or she belongs, means SC/ST, ex-servicemen or PWD category, then again fee will be reduced up to 1200 only. And if he or she wants to add one more subject up to maximum 2, then 720 rupees extra he or she has to give in. And entire system is online. He or she can pay through credit card, debit card, what the facility he or she has. And apart from that, 50 rupees will be added as a, you can say, online fee. So this is for admission. Stream 2 already we have discussed. Stream 3 already we have discussed. Who is eligible? Anyone can be eligible. If a learner is taking admission in our system and that learner is a very fresh candidate, then he or she has to face at least one public examination. Then he or she will be eligible to attend on-demand examination. Other than this, any student, those who are failed from their parent board, they are also eligible for stream 2 examination. Even part admission anyone can take. Suppose anyone choosing the pilot course, and for pilot course we all know physics course is mandatory, and suppose he has not already taught read a physics subject in their parent board, then single subject he can take from our system, and that will be eligible to become a pilot course. This is fee structure already we have discussed. Yeah, PCP, we are conducting PCP, personal contact program, through our study center. 30 PCP we are providing for theory subject, and suppose a subject having practical also, then 5 PCP for practical, and the last 6 practical will be the main examination. Tutor per assignment, we already told that 20% of theory weightage is there. And for practical, there is an internal marks that is known as formative assessment. Suppose practical marks of 20, then 10 marks will be for formative assessment and 10 marks will be summative assessment. Summative assessment means final examination. Formative assessment means through entire personal contact program, what a learner are achieving during the performing experiment. That marks is known as formative assessment. Examination, already we have discussed that we have twice in a year, one in April, May, and second one in October, November. And there are 9 chances to complete their course. Free to write any regional language also, which already scheduled by the constitution. All maximum regional languages are available, especially if you talk about Kerala, then Malayali subject as a language and as a medium also available in our system. If you talk about vocational courses, we have a range of courses. 6-month certificate courses we have, 1-year certificate course, package course, 1 year or 2-year diploma courses, and we have the course combination also. Means suppose you're taking academic course, with the same course we can also choose a vocational course also. So there may be combination also. Especially if you consider about the young gen person, then we have especially AI that are known as SAID, Special Accredited Institution for Education of the Disadvantaged Group. And for them, we have already designed Indian Sign Language. And for this candidate, we are also running Gyanamrit, already we have discussed. And we also made our books on Deji software, means talking books, like talking books. If someone has installed our apps and NIS Connect, then there is a Deji software player also. So any Divyangjan person can read through that platform. This is all about a quick introduction. Now the platform is open. Anyone can ask if he or she has any doubt. So I'm stopping my sharing, PPT sharing.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for all the details, very elaborately presented. And I think already few of our questions have been answered during some of your slides.
Yes.
So I'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes. We invite parents to ask if they have any questions, if they would like to open up, or I already have a list of questions given to us. Would any parent like to unmute and ask a question? Miss Annette Varghese, do you have a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Please ask.
Okay, good evening, all of you. My question is NIOS certificate acceptable to study abroad, especially in Canada? Because her sister is in Canada.
Yeah,
Can you
it
hear
is
me?
valid across any country. Yeah, NIS certificate, any course is acceptable across India and abroad India also. If you are asking about Canada, yes, it is acceptable in Canada also.
Ma'am, then
Thank you, ma'am. And okay, sir, we have a question.
Yes.
Now, what is the NIOS board valid for government jobs? And similar questions have come, like how the students can appear in competitive exams like IIT, IIM entrances. So can you please reflect on that?
Yes, as already I have told, NIS is a board at par with CBSE or ICSE board also. It comes under Ministry of Education. So this certificate is valid across country and abroad country also. So there is no question, there is no any stigma in recognition of NIS. Yes, it is valid, and it is also valid for any government job, any private sector job. And in Kerala, especially some or few vocational courses are very popular, especially basic computing, secretarial practices. These courses are very in demand, and nursing courses, few courses, especially in Kerala, are on very demand. And if you if you are concerned about IIT and NEET learner, so we are, you can say, gift for them, because we are giving the flexibility of attending the classes, and they can easily prepare and they can focus especially on their IIT JEE preparation. They are also eligible for taking admission of BTech or MBBS courses or any courses. They all are
Absolutely.
acceptable.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
And one good thing also, because when JEE consider for advanced examination, they take top 10 or top 20%, what the criteria are there, decided by them only, the hosting agency. So every board top 10%, you can imagine, most of the board are giving 99%, but our the maximum top percentage is 70, 75 or 80 maximum. So our learner is more benefited, because their 99% is well equivalent to our 80%, because our top 20% start from 80% and comes out 60%. So this range is equivalent to other board like CBSE. If you consider, CBSE start from 99 and finish maximum to 95. So our students are more benefited.
Absolutely, sir. That's a
Especially
very
for
valid
JEE
point.
advanced.
Yes. Thank you, sir. So we have one question on the chat box. Is there any job-oriented courses?
Yeah, our most of the vocational courses are job oriented. We have so many sectors vocational courses. If you consider agriculture, if you consider science and technology, plumber, basic fitters, and if you consider home science, in home science, so many they can do job in private sector, in hotel management, and they can pursue their research degree also. And if we consider our sociology course, then there may be chances for rehabilitation, case management, youth and elderly services, recreation, administration, social work, legal, state and federal agencies. So many they are offering our students. So there is no any hesitation. Maximum opportunity with NIS can go either in public sector, government sector, or any agency. No problem.
Thank you, sir. So another question has come. When students seek exemption from certain core subjects like maths or science in the school level itself, how can it be compensated? So can you throw light on the prospects for such students?
Yes, especially in this question, I will suggest any learner, if he or she choose subject, then they must take care of Kerala government rule also. Especially in Kerala government, what they says, they have some certain condition with NIS. If in NIS, we are taking care of Government of India rule only. Suppose we are taking 5 subjects, then our mandatory condition is only 1 subject should be language. But in Kerala government, there are 2 subjects as a language. One Malayalam should be compulsory. So it is our suggestion that any student who are taking the admission in NIS, they must take care of this condition also. So they choose Malayalam as a subject also. And according to you are asking about what the other things exemption, then it is my opinion any learner choose their subject according to their career. Suppose any learner want to become career in engineering field, then they select the subject accordingly. They must have physics, they must have science, they must have chemistry, they must have biology. If suppose a student already decided ki in future I have to pursue a humanity course, I have to pursue a commerce course, then they never should read such subject. They should read the commerce or a humanity subject. Means your goal should be very clear. When you are going to appear in secondary or senior secondary, your subject should be chosen accordingly. Otherwise, you will become sufferer. Suppose I am choosing physics, chemistry, math, then definitely if I am going to pursue for civil services, and in civil services I am taking especially social science, psychology, economics, then what is the benefit of our previous reading? Meaningless. So if from initially if I study sociology or economics, then it will our base will be very strong, and I can pursue, I can crack any examination in particular that field. So it is our my opinion, the student can choose their subject what they in which they want to become their career.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. It's a very valid point. Now, I have a question on that is the English syllabus. How far the NIOS English syllabus is effective for those students having poor comprehension?
Actually, English subject we cannot compensate for these learner because we have also standard, and we have to also compare with across board, either CBSE or any state board. So these all are designed by our academic department, and this is up to a standard at par with the other board. So student have to minimum read what the syllabus already designed by our system. This is the minimum condition. Otherwise, if they read less, then definitely they become sufferer. If they shift from NIS to another parallel board, means if they are coming in secondary in our system, and in higher secondary they are going in CBSE board, and if they have read less curriculum, then definitely they become sufferer. So everything should be at par.
Right, sir. Thank you so much. Sir, we have just one more question which we would like to ask at this point. That is, how will the new educational policy affect the NIOS scheme?
Yes, NIS National Education Policy affect entire India. Definitely, if you read National Education Policy, then this is a very good submission by the government. Earlier, what we consider only from class 1st to 12th. Means there was a 10+2 system like this. Now, our new education policy 2020, the system becomes 5+3+3+4. Means we are also taking care of early childhood care education. Earlier, we are not considering these segment. So government is now focusing to build a great or build a strong fundamental of any learner. Means their early childhood care education should also be strong, so that when he or she take admission in class 1st, they are well aware about something like shape, number, color, and other thing. These are already running by some Anganwadi, but this is not much effective. Now government is focusing on this especially, and especially if you consider NIS, what is the role basically? Especially NIS has taken a task from the ministry has given a task to NIS, especially for the young person, to develop online courses. We are already developed so many online courses, and these are running Swayamprabha platform. Swayamprabha already I have told channel number 20, 29, and 30. Already we are running. So we have a great responsibility in online education system, and we are very privileged as an NIS that we are working in online system last 5-6 years back. Nowadays, during Corona, entire system are coming on the online platform, and we have the well experience already in online platform. So it is very good for us.
Thank you, sir. And thank you so much, sir, for sharing all these insights. It has been very informative. Now, we will take a slight pause and move over to the next speaker, Ms. Seema. We have already heard an introduction from Mrs. Meenakshi, and we had a lot of questions coming to us regarding mental health and how students can increase their focus, improve their concentration while in the NIOS system. And who better can handle but Seema, who's a special educator. She's a consulting psychologist, and she's also a mother of 2 children who have just moved to NIOS. So over to you, Seema. We would eagerly wait to listen to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anu, and namaste, Alok ji. Good to meet you again here. And thank you, thank you, Sunita ma'am, Indu, and all the parents and children. Thank you so much for your active listening. So I think my first introduction is I'm a very new entrant as a mother to the NIOS. Both my children have moved to NIOS. One is 10-year-old and the other is 14. And it's hardly a few months, and I can't be more thankful for the decision I made to move to NIOS, because it was a huge freedom. Because there is a lot of flexibility, and I never knew that so much was possible within NIOS, and I wished I had done it earlier. So anyway, that's thanks to COVID now. There was a lot of resistance, because from the previous school where my children were doing well, One was the student council or the prefect. So they're like, why are you moving to NIOS if your children are doing well in the CBSE? So there is always a myth that only if you're not doing well, you should move to NIOS. I think moving to NIOS is opening more opportunities, giving more freedom, and also taking responsibility of your own learning. And it has been a brilliant journey so far. And I am confident that it will go so. So it's great that there is a talk like this. Regarding the 3 questions that I got, I'll just read out the first question. For this new generation students, some sort of training by experts on subjects like emotional balancing, self-respect, respect towards others is the need of the hour. That can be given through some sort of games, yoga, or meditation without making children getting bored. Is there any scope for such classes? I agree that there is a need for emotional regulation for all of us, not only children, for adults as well in the current millennium, which is true. But I would like to I think the answer is there in the question as well, but not, framed exactly. It says without making children bored. I think it's very important for our mental health and for our emotional regulation that children know how to handle boredom. The trouble with the millennium generation is that we pack them with activities, from one activity to another activity. The whole day is packed. I think when it comes to yoga and meditation that is suggested as a calming exercise, it is to calm down. And sometimes doing nothing is very important for mental health. And I think it's important that children be bored, because it is when they are bored that they find their true self. They become really creative. They ask a lot of questions. They ask, how do you do that? How do you do this? And that is when you know the true potential of your child. And that is when you can channelize their energies really well. Is there a presentation coming up? Okay, no. Yeah. So I think there are courses, but specifically what works for each child, I think you should take an individual consultation. There are varied psychologists and platforms to take an individual consultation, because what works for each child will be depending on the skills of that child, the strengths, the abilities, the family. So it will have to be an individual consult. The next part of the question of teaching self-respect and respect towards oneself. Most often as parents, sometimes we end up teaching children about respect by disrespecting them. So when they are being disrespectful to us, knowingly or unknowingly, we also become disrespectful and we say, no, you have to respect us. So respect is not something that can be taught. Respect is something that they imitate. So if they get respect, they will be respectful, and they should see a lot of respect among the adults that they live in, and how we as adults interact with others, with our environment, with our colleagues and everybody else. I think that is decisive on how we can teach our children to be respectful. The second question is, if we have an ambition or a dream, how to achieve it and not be deviated from the path of achieving it, and some tips for increasing concentration. Okay, the first part is, if you have an ambition and a dream, how to achieve it. I think the first thing will be to be able to deal with failure and criticism. If you're passionate about something, if you know this is what you want, then you will have to have the ability to try again, fail, try again. So let us not protect our children from every little disappointment that might come their way. That's not our job. They have to deal with sadness. They have to deal with little bit of anger. They have to deal with little bit of anxiety. We as adults and teachers or parents can be facilitators. So, do not shield them too much. Be there to hold if they fall. So that is how they will reach their dream. Otherwise, they will give up halfway, because somebody says something, somebody criticizes, and you give up. So if we are teaching our children to deal with these emotions and to deal with failure, in little things, maybe it's a little game or anything at all, I think that is where they will move towards what they really want to do. They should be hardworking and they will try again. And to be able to concentrate, I think all our children, especially the millennials, are born into the world of technology and screens. So they are born into a world full of noise. And sometimes you can't really avoid it. There is a lot of noise all around. So it is very, very difficult for this generation to really focus on one thing because there is so much available. So when our parents were raising us, they didn't have to say no to so many things because it was not there. It was non-existent. But when we are raising our children, there is a long list of things that we have to say no, 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 no. So, and too many choices. You can do this or that. There are too many choices. So concentration genuinely becomes difficult. So then it is important that we give them time, like in the previous question I said, to really do nothing and ensure that whatever little thing that they do, let them complete it and start with basic household chores. We don't have to enroll them in some other activity as long as they are involved in whatever little responsibility that they can take inside home, especially in the COVID times. You can't be sending them elsewhere. So let them start at home. Concentration begins by taking responsibility of first their bedroom, their own cupboards, their own books, their own things. There begins concentration and taking responsibility. Start with that. And the last question that is here is, what all possible ways to identify the strongest areas of our children? My son has taken the commerce group as a subject and planning to have higher studies on the same. What could be ideal options to improve his skills in this area? Okay, the first part is, what are the possible ways to identify the strengths of your children? Again, as I said, it's connected with the first two. When they are bored, when they have nothing to do, they will go to where their strength is. They will follow their heart. They will do what they are drawn to. Observe that. So give them ample opportunities to explore in the current situation within their homes. And yes, now when I said technology can be used, it can be abused also. But the good, putting technology to good use is explore. There is so much. The whole world is your teacher now. Whole world is connected. So there is so much we can use technology to our advantage, but then only make sure that you strike a balance. So be with your children and find out the possibilities without pushing them. Let them have lots of discussion around what is available and see where your child is headed. If your child is coming up with something which you don't agree, do not immediately disagree, say, oh, that's a horrible stream to choose. Understand, find out why is that child choosing that. Listen more, listen a lot more, and then you will know what their strengths are. And the second part is about commerce group. My son has also chosen commerce group. So first thing is, after COVID times, I think I would definitely look for internship opportunities, because that is a flexibility which NIOS is giving. You are not bound by attendance and going to school daily. You can look for internship opportunities with any CA or anybody within your family or friend circle or any other organization. Start choosing internship opportunities with credible organizations where they will give you a certificate, and that is very valid, especially if you're going abroad. The child not only learns the subject, but also learns to work in a team, learns a lot of other skills. But that can happen only post-COVID. But currently, what you can do is, again, your house, you're dealing money. You definitely have accounts handling. You buy a lot of things from the shops. Entrust the responsibility over to your child depending on the skill and the age. Facilitate that. If you yourself are running a business or you have your own accounts, slowly start bringing that discussion. Let the child know how accounting is done within your family, how budgeting is done within your family. So that is what we can start off with right away. And I think it opens a world of opportunities. It increases the communication within the family members, and that in turn will improve everybody's mental health. So These are the 3 questions that I had, and thank you for listening, and thank you, Anu, and everyone for having me here. Thank you.
Thank you, Seema.
Yeah.
So, we haven't received any question now on the chat box related to Seema ma'am's topic. So while we wait, I would really thank you so much, Seema, for bringing those insights, especially when you said not to shield our children from too many failures. I think there is no such thing as failure. It is more of a feedback. I think that is a very important and strong message. Now, another question that we had received during the collection of questions from parents was on what is the scope of study after NIOS. So today, among the panelists, I also have my colleague, my partner, Mrs. Indu Jairam, co-founder and director, Career Fit 360. And I would like to invite Indu now to share her experiences in the journey of NIOS. Over to you, Indu. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening all. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So thank you so much for Alok sir and Seema for this wonderful session, and I think you have covered almost all the topics. And my role here now is as a parent who has had a year and a half of experience of having a child who's doing open schooling with NIOS. So I always come across a few questions whenever I meet someone and they ask me what my daughter is doing. So I'm just going to discuss with you those questions because I'm sure that these are the frequently asked questions and which you'll have to answer most. So the first is, why did you put your child in NIOS? And the second question is, did your daughter have any learning problems? Is she poor in academics? Because these are the 2 questions that kept popping up every time I met someone for the first time. So to answer my first question, I put my child in NIOS because I was very much attracted by the flexibility in NIOS, because as a mother, as a career analyst, I have seen the pressure that the children were going through during their 10th boards and the entire year of 10th, back-to-back tuitions. Even if I didn't want to put them for a tuition, it would be like she will be like a fish out of water. So she had to run up and down for the tuitions, and she was a junior head girl of the school. She had to take part in a lot of activities. And by the time she came back home, she was tired and exhausted. And I would never see her sit and study because this was, it was just pushed to the weekend. So this is a time as a career analyst, I had a lot of cases coming where the students were having difficulty in learning. And I myself as a victim of that. When I was a child, I had dyscalculia, and I didn't know that. I struggled with math and I failed most of the time. And every time I scored above 90 for all my subjects, but for maths, it was always a red line. And that is a time I wish I could drop maths, but then I had no option. But after 10th, yes, I did have the option. And then I started blooming and I started performing very well in my academics. So that is one question that answers to my question, why I put my child in NIOS. And the second question, she did not have any learning problem. She was academically bright. She scored a decent marks for her 10th. But as I rightly said, a problem was she knew the pressure that lay ahead in her 11th and 12th. Seeing others, and even after 10, parents have already started looking out for tuitions to run around and get above 95. And I remember after her 10th results, those friends and relatives who have not called me ever used to call and ask how much your daughter has scored. So this kind of pressure, she said, I want to take a break, Amma. So that we thought, okay, NIOS is the best choice. And why NIOS? Because we got the opportunity to learn about it. And the moment we decided that we should try NIOS, we made a couple of visits to the NIOS office in Panampally Nagar. And we got amazing support from them because they were very, very patient. Because as a parent, I had 120 questions every time I went. And after that, I keep asking them, I repeat the same questions, and they were so patient with me. So parents, instead of just Googling and getting half-baked information, please try and make a visit to the NIS office. They have consultants who will help you and guide you properly. As Alok sir was mentioning, the subject choice that you take is very, very important, because it should not be just based on your interest that moment. It should have a futuristic purpose. So the combination that you take and the job opportunity related to that is very, very important. So take some time off and talk to the authorities in NIOS. They will also connect you to some students who have already successfully passed out of NIOS. And so it will make your life easier. It will make your life easy in taking a decision. And the next question that always comes to me is that, will your daughter get admission in colleges in India or abroad? Okay, so this question, somebody has put this into people's mind that NIOS is for dropouts. But NIS, I just wanted to prove to people that NIOS is not only for dropouts, it is also for high-performing learners. And now when you see that a lot of students are joining NIOS to actually do their IIT, GE, NEET entrance, etc. So that stigma is slowly moving away. And what impressed me so much is a curriculum that the NIOS, that is a combination of CBSE and NCERT. And it was very simple. And that encouraged my daughter to do self-learning. And unfortunately in India, we are so much into spoon feeding, and we give marks based on the points that is given in the notes. The child is not allowed to think by himself and do perform. So when my daughter joined open schooling, I see a lot of change. She is using a lot of other tools to learn about the subject. And the other question was that, what are the changes that you see in your daughter? Has she become lazy? Has she become laid back? All these questions are there. So one very important point that I want to tell the parents is that NIOS, this taking a decision is very easy, but sticking to that decision and making sure that you reach till the destination is very, very important. And fortunately for you, all your children are very safe in the hands of Bhavan Salamakkara. So you don't have to worry about it. But in my case, there was no monitoring from nowhere. So I had to make sure that the first few months, I was hand-holding my daughter. I was supporting her. And until she had a system in place, we had to help her, because she's in her adolescence, and sometimes she will lose track of time and she will get very excited that she doesn't have to go to school. So the first thing that we made sure was that she had to follow the curriculum, just like we had a timetable school timing, where she was supposed to get up at 7:30, and then she start learning her subjects. So when this system was in place, she had enough and more time. And the changes that happened to her is she acquired a lot of new skills that is very important for the coming generation, that is Industrial 4.0. She became more creative. She became so planned. She had everything in system. She was taking part in a lot of activities. Her communication skills improved. She became very proactive, and she was getting enough time to follow all her passions. She's a bass guitarist. She's a musician. She's an excellent cook. She learned languages, and now she's actually heading a business development for ISEC. It's a UN-based youth organization. So all this happened just because she opted for NIOS. And for her, it doesn't take any strain on her academics because she has teachers helping her, all her school teachers and others, regular tuitions are happening online. And when this pandemic happened, I think I was the only parent who was very, very cool about it because all the teachers, all the parents had actually arranged for so many tuitions across the city. And now shifting the learning mode from a kinesthetic learning or brick and mortar to direct online learning was a lot of challenge for them. But for my daughter, the system was in place. So parents, I just have to tell you that you have taken the right decision, because after this pandemic, the education sector scenario is totally going to change. It is no longer going to be full-time class system. It is going to be a blended learning where you will have to start learning online, offline, and sometimes we call as a flash learning, where you will be given the topic, the child will be given the topic and will be asked to go through the topic and come to school and discuss on that, rather than teacher teaching them. So there is a lot of changes that is happening. And I can also see that the students whom I meet, they've become more confident because they are doing a lot of self-learning now. And they are able to cope. But as I was mentioning, since the learning curve is different for each student, those students who have a dominance on visual, they are very happy, they don't have a problem. But those students who are auditory and kinesthetic, they are having a problem. So teachers also will have to add on a lot of creativity into their learning system so that it will be interesting for them. So these are the questions that was asked most of the time. And I thought this is the best platform because you all will be facing the same questions wherever you go. And you'll have to explain, because I had parents calling me and telling that I have spoiled my my daughter's future, and she's going to miss social interaction, and she will be socially isolated and all. So please understand, NIOS, we are not putting a child in a cage, okay? She has a freedom to be at home, and you don't have to restrict her freedom. Let her go move around and meet her friends. Till the pandemic, my daughter was she used to visit her school every week, even every month. And after that, she used to visit her friends. She had more friends now. So you don't have to worry about the social isolation, but it is all about how the parents handle this. If you feel guilty that your son or daughter is an NIOS, you're going to pass that guilt on to your child. You don't have to be guilty at all. Please thank God that we have an option like NIOS. Otherwise, you know how many children who come to me for counseling, how much they suffer, they struggle. Schooling is not a pleasant experience because they are not able to perform in particular subjects. And you don't have to be good in math or science compulsorily. You can also live without maths. See, I am a live example. I can still survive without maths. I can count, I can do addition, subtraction, that's fine. So don't feel dejected and don't feel bad that my kid is an NIOS. Be happy when you say that you have taken a decision, bold decision to put your child in NIOS. And also you have the hand-holding support of your Bhavan Salmakara and Sunita ma'am. I don't have to explain anything more about her. You are very, very safe in her hands. And I really appreciate Sunita ma'am and also Meenakshi ma'am for the kind of efforts they have put in to pull this program. Okay, so be happy. Don't worry about anything. Just give them enough confidence. As Seema was mentioning, let them bloom, give them the freedom. Don't go behind them. Don't do helicopter parenting and tell them what they should do. Let them learn through failures. Please celebrate their failures. Once they fail, make it a big happy thing in the family. You don't have to be like, okay, I failed and that's not good. No, failing is also good, because when next time when you succeed, it will be more sweeter. So parents, this is something that I wanted to share with you. And Thank you so much, Bhavans, for this wonderful opportunity. And I think I have covered almost all the areas as a parent whose ward is in NIOS. And I'm telling you till now, I'm very, very happy with this decision. And I congratulate all of you for taking up this decision. And just follow, it will just pass on and you don't have to worry. Just be happy and give confidence to your child. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Indu. You have passed on a lot of confidence and energy. I'm sure all the parents must be having a sigh of relief having heard these words from you, being a career practitioner. So we already have a few questions coming up on the chat. One is regarding your daughter. After her NIOS 12th, which course she did and where? So I think you can.
Yeah, so she's still continuing her 12th. She's in her 12th now. And she had this plan of going abroad and doing her bachelor's. So one question that kept coming is whether colleges would accept NIOS candidates. So we had a clarity on which are the universities that she's planning to apply. And we wrote a mail to them asking them if is it okay if my daughter is doing NIOS and is it okay. So the universities across the world didn't care at all about what education system you are in. They said, we just want to know how, they wanted to know the statement of purpose. That is, what is the potential of your child? It's not about academics at all. Unlike in India, our life hangs around with the marks, no? Where you have to score above 90, then only you are considered as a brilliant child, nothing like that. So now because of this pandemic, the exams have not happened. And after her exams, she will be either enrolling in some course in Cochin, Kerala, India. She's taken commerce maths combination. So she is figuring out what exactly she wants and she has time and she will be doing that.
Thank you, Indu.
Yeah.
Another question which has come up is, so after +2, which all colleges are there concerning, in the investment banking stream? So for the parent who has raised the question, I think that particular question is beyond the agenda of the session today, because here we are mainly concentrating at NIOS, the system and the options that are available. So anything specific to colleges in a particular career stream, I think you can send us an email and then we can respond to you. So now another question that we have for Alok sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir,
yes, please.
We have a question. There is a concern about the data entry operation syllabus, and there is a question that they are still learning very basic. So can you please throw some light on?
Yes, first up, I will tell you about our system. Actually, in iOS, every 5 years, we do a need analysis, we do a research across the country. What is the new scenario? What is the new trend going on the technology? Not technology, an entire subject. And according to that particular data analysis and research, there we collect a recommendation. Now, after every 5 years, how we update our syllabus, our curriculum. According to that, we make our new books. So if you concern about data entry operation, yes, it becomes obsolete now. Some courses are really very old. So we will put all the recommendation to our headquarters. Now our data entry operation should be updated per present scenario. Not data entry operation, every subject we are ready to update.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Another question, sir, is why accountancy practical is being exempted from NIOS board exam?
This is a similar question. We are not exempted. Actually, this syllabus was finalized in 2014-15, and that time CBSE doesn't have this practical component also, and not any other board also. At that time, only the theory component was there. Yes, after 5 years has been already over. So definitely our department, academic especially, our headquarter will consider to update our syllabus and the mechanism also. Definitely we will put the recommendation to have a practical component. For example, if you consider 5 years back, our syllabus was more advanced in comparison to CBSE. At that time, especially in accountancy, there was not in syllabus microeconomics theory in CBSE, but we have this theory. So we are more advanced, but we have a mechanism like every 5 years we update our syllabus. Definitely after 5 years, we will introduce what is the current knowledge or what is the current education is required. Definitely we will add, and this recommendation we will put to our headquarters.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So another question that has come is, can the students already passed in 5 subjects in secondary can appear for 6 subjects while studying senior secondary?
Any learner already passed in secondary with 5 subjects, no problem. Our basic requirement for taking admission in senior secondary is only he or she should be pass secondary. There is no number, there is no number system. So if he or she have already passed secondary, then he can take admission in senior secondary. And the same condition, either he can choose minimum 5 subjects or he can choose maximum 7 subjects. But it is our recommendation, it is our suggestion also, especially for Kerala student. What we are seeing that Kerala government given recognition NIS with certain condition. What is the condition? There should be 2 languages. At least 1 language should be Malayalam. So it is our suggestion also to the learner. If you choose the subject, then in that combination Malayalam you also select, so that you don't become sufferer in future.
Thank you,
Otherwise,
sir.
as per Government of India now, only 5 subject is minimum requirement to pass out secondary or senior secondary. For a certification of secondary or senior secondary, only 5 subject is compulsory, and in which that only 1 language should be compulsory. Only this is the condition as per the Government of India, and we are governing under the Government of India. But especially in Kerala government also asks for secondary subject combination like social science, psychology, maths, and Malayalam, and other language may be there. So we also suggest if any learner coming in our system and they also taken care of this hurdle or barrier given by the Government of Kerala also. Otherwise, freedom is there. Otherwise, NIS is education for blessing. We are just waiting to hold the hand of our learners for build up their career. We have another opportunity. If anyone reject, don't feel rejected. You are selected. You are a God-gifted blessing. We will accept, no problem. If no one is there, NIS is here, and we will always here in our office. So most welcome, no problem.
Thank you, sir. Those are very, very motivational words. Thank you so much. Sir, there is a question. When will the October exam and date of application be announced?
Everyone knows the corona is going on. This only depend upon the situation. If situation permit or allow, definitely our headquarter will think over on this, and they will declare a date. But at presently the situation is there is no situation coming to hold the examination. Not for us, entire country, every board. No one take any risk, because our children are at high risk. If they are having a mass, if we are starting examination, definitely we will conduct across country more than 5 lakh learners, 10 lakh learners may be there. So maintaining all the parameter of corona, definitely it is a tedious job and costly too. So if condition or Government of India permit to hold the examination, definitely we will take care all the condition and allow for the October examination. But till now we have not received any notice. If any notice will come, definitely it will be on our NIS portal, in our regional center website also, as well as our headquarter website. So any learner seeking examination of October examination, they frequently visit our website. It is my humble request, if they frequently visit our website day by day. If any notice comes, there will be then that notice will be there only.
Thank you, sir. And for the information of all the participants, please look in the chat box Brabulin sir has already given us the link for the NIOS website. Kindly, all of you can take a note of this. We have a question for Indu ma'am. Ma'am, what are the best careers in the coming 5 years? Ma'am, you're on mute. Indu ma'am?
Yeah, that's a billion-dollar question because things have totally changed. Just like we say AD and BC, now it's like post-COVID and pre-COVID, the situation has totally changed. And lots of jobs are going to be extinct, or they're not going to be there, and the new jobs are going to come up. So some of them would be like software developers, and even medical industry jobs are going to have huge scope now, like medical and health sectors, even psychologists and consultants and all these jobs, artificial intelligence, because we are heading to a combination of Industrial Revolution 4.0. So now it's going to be a dark age where we are going to talk about robots actually replacing manpower. But still, don't worry, new jobs will be always there. So have a look out and please keep updated by reading a lot of articles that come in the websites about the new jobs, because there is a huge list. So any parent who really wants to know about it, you can keep in touch with us personally and we can really help you, because there are a lot of jobs that is going to be more important than the other jobs, even coding and all these green jobs, all the job, medical research, all this industry is going to really boom after the pandemic, because now we are going to live in a world where virus is going to be the more biological weapon. So we may have to encounter a lot of viruses. So any course related to that, and also mental health and even English language, I heard it's going to be a great scope after this pandemic. Yeah, and we can hope and pray that things get back to normal, at least in a year or so that our kids can go back to school and have a social interaction, have fun, and and especially students from Bhavans, they will be really missing all the high power activities that's happening there. Okay, so anyone who wants to know more about this, please kindly keep in touch with us. As Anu mentioned, you can mail us. We will get you the details. Okay, thank you so much. I hope it answers your question.
Thank you, ma'am. And now, with the permission of the school authorities, if we can take a few more questions, if any of the participants would like to unmute and ask, we'll wait for 2 minutes and then we can move to the next activity and next item in the agenda. Would any of the parents like to unmute and ask their question? Okay, so I would like to now hand over to Soumya ma'am, Soumya Narayanan ma'am, to kindly deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Anuradha ma'am. It is a great honor and privilege to propose the words of gratitude. I extend my sincere thanks to NIOS Regional Director, respected Dr. Alok Kumar Gupta, for taking his precious time out to give our students an insight to the easier possibilities after NIOS education. Thank you, sir. Next, I would like to thank respected Srimati Seema Lal, consultant psychologist and special educator, for accepting our invitation without any hesitation. Her wholehearted endeavor really inspired our students to choose their career. Thank you, ma'am. I take this opportunity to express our gratitude to respected Madam Srimati Indu Jairam, Career Analyst and Director Training and Development, for her valuable suggestion and guidance. It is indeed a great learning curve for our students. Thank you, ma'am. I take this opportunity to thank respected Srimati Anuradha ma'am, co-founder and managing director of Career Fit 360, for moderating the panel discussion. Thank you, ma'am. I would also like to thank our respected principal ma'am, Srimati Sunita S, for taking interest to arrange such a program. Thank you, madam, for the support you have given. Next, I take this opportunity to thank parents and students for the participation. It is rightly said, unity is strength. When there is a teamwork and collaboration, wonderful things can be achieved. Finally, I thank all my dear colleagues. Thank you.
Thank you, Alok.
Thank
sir.
you, madam.
I'm Sunita here. Thank you,
Giving me
sir.
chance to discuss about NIS. And again, I am saying, as a NIS, we are a lifelong learner. Every time we have to learn. What you will give suggestion, definitely we will think over that, and we will give all your ideas and all your recommendation to our headquarter. And don't worry, always we are here to serve the service of the entire Kerala, including Lakshadweep also. So if you have any doubt, any queries, please visit our office. And if you have any query, you can also mail us. We have two mail, rckochi@nios.ac.in. Another mail is rdkochi@nios.ac.in. So anytime, most welcome, no problem. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you, sir. Alok, sir. I'm Sunita. I have a net connectivity issue. I can't enable my video. I think you are hearing me.
Yes, ma'am.
Indu ma'am, Nirada, thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for this opportunity, and very, very grateful to Meenakshi ma'am for her very constant support, and the
Yes.
entire team who has helped us pull this through very nicely.
Indu ma'am, convey my regards to Shreya.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely.
Yes.
I will do that.
Nice to see you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Okay. Thank
Seema
you.
ma'am, thank you for your
I
valuable
think
time.
I have to tell this, ma'am. I'm so happy for the contributions that we made today, because whatever my children are today is all credits to Bhavans. My son is working in Google, and he got placed at a very young age. And the interviewer was mentioning me about the language, the strength of his language.